Does that point back to mediocrity?
Yeah,
Being mediocre, right?
it does.
Does it point back to, I mean, you said that at the top of the podcast, but does it point back to that? Just being
Absolutely.
mediocre, right? A
Oh yeah.
mindset, a lifestyle of it. I'm telling you, you're gonna find yourself on the bottom. And it's interesting you said that about Kobe, right? And
Right.
there's so many clips out there now since his passing. But one of my favorite ones is basically a coach is talking with him and he tells him, man, why are you this jerk? Man, you're a jerk, you know?
Right.
And Kobe goes on to say, man, do you really want me to answer? And he's
Right.
like, yeah, yeah. And he was like, man, the reason why is I'm putting all this work in. I mean, I'm putting it in. Sweat equity, the time equity, everything, the thought process. And then I see cats come in here, you know, they just come in as they want, last one to get here, first one to leave. And so he's like, man,
Right.
I'm not passing him the ball. And I'm not passing it because I don't trust him. Like,
Wow.
and when you think about his comments, like basketball, it's a team sport. And I want to say on here, and we're going to always say, life is a team sport. You're not in this thing by yourself. In professional basketball, even though we may admire individual players, the number one goal is for them to win a championship, right? It's the goal rush. Let's get to this championship. And man, it's a principle that we're gonna be talking about. You man, if you've ever played any kind of sports, you've been in practice with a cat, man. This dude, our world, they got the talent. It's no question, but their work ethic is pitiful. Man, like if we want to win sprints, coach, like touch the line. Man, they
Right.
won't touch the line. And for me, if I'm on the team with you, that speaks volume. It speaks volume. Like all of us we're doing what's asked of us to reach a few more inches to bend down and touch the line. Not only are you not touching the line, man, you quitting before we finish the horses. So what does that
Right.
tell me? If you can't do this in practice, how can I depend on you in the game? If you quitting on the thing where nobody is in here on, you're gonna quit when times get hard. And as a team, we can't depend on you. And like Kobe said, I'm not gonna pass you the ball. My work, my sacrifice, I'm not gonna allow it to go down the drain because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So it's either you're gonna man up or it looks like I'm gonna have to carry you, which we saw him do season
Right.
after season after season. So it's the question
Yeah.
is you who are watching, are you the player that's putting in the work, or are you the player that's going to need to be carried? And I'm telling you,
Oh,
I played sports a long time, but you ain't gonna never find nobody that I ever played sports with that'll tell you I'm the cat that they had to carry. No, no, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna put in the work, and that's what life is. We have to put in the work, man. And oh man, this is
wow.
great. This is great. I know we started off talking about divorce, but life. This is about life. It's about life, and the better the better we are, those around us, the better they can be. And when we can get better homes. So if you have 30 homes on a block and you can get one home in order, and then possibly across the street you get another home in order, now we can start to begin to have a domino effect. Now they can come together. Now, if this home and this home gets better, what eventually happens is the community can get better. You and I both, man, we spend majority of our life in church. You already know the church is made up of who? Families. If you have a
Families.
church full of broken families, you're gonna have a broken ministry. It's
Absolutely.
period. It's people. The church is made up of people. But when you get people whole, you get them restored, you get them redeemed. They get a new focus, they get a new walk in life. Now you can begin to build stronger families, right? And that it can be reciprocated, right? Uh, it can be modeled. God says, "You follow those through who faith and patience inherit the promises." So you don't have to be jealous of anybody, but you can look at where they're winning in life. It's like, you know what, man, I need to abstract that principle and apply it to my life so I can get the victory in this area, right? And we're talking about these specific things. We may not be talking about the specific thing that you're dealing with in life, but I
Mhm.
promise you, these principles, They
Right.
work across the board, man. So I think that's incredible, Don, man. Just your mindset. That's why I wanted to have you on, man. And it's good to hear, let the people hear from a real live person. I'm telling you, man, when divorce happens, it's the same thing that happened in the garden. We hide. We go get fig leaves, man. And but the sooner you can deal with it, and you're willing to be open and honest, or open and naked, it's like, you know what, we need to deal with this, because if I don't, it's gonna pop its head up 20 years from now. That's the thing that we have to do to make us better. We talked about a few things, and you mentioned it earlier, man. You're a musician. Uh, Not only are you a musician, man, you just in the music industry, in the audio world, man. I consider you to be a giant, and man, you have a lot of things going on. You know a lot of people. One of the things that I am intrigued with, and I think it is an open door for a generation, is this media. Now we see it on the flip side, that it affects them, and how it keeps them from being the people that they can be. But I do believe there is a certain group in a generation that should be doing media to help us move our world forward. Media is such a powerful tool, and let me break it down by what I mean. Um,
Yes.
we have, and I'm talking community and race now. Um, we have been sold, or we have been made to believe that we should we should strive to be in front of the camera. And I won't go into all the different narratives of what being in front of the camera is. If you watch TV, you're on social media, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I look at young black men, young black ladies, we see a huge decline in them wanting to go to college and wanting to go to school. Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with that if you have something else that you're going to focus in on, a trade, a business, some type of education, so you can be able to provide for yourself, provide for your family, and then walk into your gifts, talents, and your abilities. When we look at media, it is a wide open lane for us, right? It's wide open. And what I mean by media, I mean you having the skills to work video equipment, lighting, audio, right? Now, this whole social media craze, VR technology, coding, all of these different things by which they offer in high school, right? I said that to say this: I watch kids, young kids, you give them an iPhone and an iPad and just watch them, they will blow your mind with how they can work it, how they can manipulate it. When I see that, I see a gift and a talent, I see a bent. But many times, um, we just figured that we can only just be LeBron James, or we can only be a Dak Prescott, those type of people. And it's not a knock against them, because I was a ball player. I love ball. God's giving you that gift, man. You better go shine. You better go do something with it. But we know the opportunity for those to do that are very slim. So if they're not going to make it there, what else in life are you going to do? You don't want to go to school, right? Okay. You don't want to do these things. What other things can you do that can do what? Let me say it this way: what other things can you do that's going to bring you joy? I believe if you have a job, it should be some enjoyment with it. After a while, we have to learn how to break the curse of just working a job, a 9 to 5 to pay bills. We wouldn't design to work a 9 to 5 just to pay bills. No, God had more in store for us than that. What about you tapping into your purpose, and that purpose opening up doors and resources for you that'll change the trajectory of your family forever, right? And so I said that to say, when I look at you, I look at how you use your gift. You use it inside the house, you use it outside of your house. What would you say to parents who are trying to figure it out, help their kids, figure out what they're going to do after high school, or they're struggling just to get them to finish high school? What do you say to that, and what do you say about this industry that you're in? Could you talk a little about that?
Yeah. So like I would say, first of all, uh, when it comes to diving into the creative side, music, what have you, might be a painter, might be they could be good at poetry. It's
Yes,
just finding, because there's so much to dive into and let them find uh what they like to do, uh and just kind of dive into that, find what they're passionate about. It, it don't necessarily have to be, say, playing drums or organ, but they got sound engineers out there,
yes,
boys that go to, young men and young women that go to school for being a sound engineer, or
yes,
they work on, be on the Broadway, be on the, be on the set, and you help, with the costumes that some people may, whatever they find their joy
yes.
in those, that's the key, and find it,
Right,
searching,
right.
and find a way that whatever that may be, keep searching for it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's good. I think, and I want to use myself here. Growing up, man, I had a bent towards just music. Um, Now, I know if I would have stuck with music, my mom, she was smart. She knew. She had me in choir and she had me in band, and I was actually on my way, but I got derailed. I don't want to talk about being derailed, but if I had a stuck with it, there's no doubt in my mind I would probably by now I would know how to play probably 8 or 9 different instruments. In terms of arrangement, writing, all of those things. It's like I can do that naturally. I have just naturally. And this was a great example of it. So when I was younger, my uncle, who was in the army, right? He was stationed over in Europe.
Right.
Um, when he came back, man, he came back with all of this like equipment I had never seen before in my life. I was used to seeing a component set. I'm dating myself, but component set, speaker, receiver. That's really the extent, a turntable. But he brought back all of these different gadgets, man, and he would let me watch him um, play with them. So what he did was he bought me like this cassette player where I could listen to music, right? And record myself on it. Because of the curiosity in me, I would take it apart to see how it worked. And then I would put it back together. Just I could do it. So then, I started getting, as we call them, jam boxes, beat all that. Then, we got hit with the whole rap phase. We got hit with the whole breakdancing phase, graffiti, all of that hit all at the same time, man. And I was just like, that stuff, I could do that stuff frontwards and backwards, right? But I ended up getting derailed from doing it. I said that to say this for parents, if you have this in your house, these are indicators. If you
Yeah.
have a kid that has this type of appetite, or if you see them, all they want to do is cook. They love being in the kitchen. They love cooking. They want to cook. They want to cut up the food. They want to prep it. They want to bake. Like those are gifts. Those are indicators. Those are areas that you can support them in, that you should pour into or give them opportunities. My daughter, man, she talked about camera, and camera's like, man, this girl, every time I look up, she's talking about a camera, or she has my phone and she taking pictures and all this. And then one day I looked at some pictures she took on my phone. I was like, man, how did she get my phone to focus? The picture was crystal clear. And I'm like, man, how did she do that? She's like, I want a camera. I want a camera. So me and my wife, it's like, you know what? We're going to invest in a camera. So we spent a little change. I got the camera and some accessories. The rest is history. She has her own photography business. She takes fabulous pictures. All my business, she takes all of the pictures for them. And so now
Wow.
she has her own business. And I'm encouraging her, even though she's getting ready to go off to college, I want her to continue to work that particular gift. So it's important for us to find those things that our kids are good. If you find your kid, they 5 years old and they can sing, they love singing. All they do is sing it. Maybe put them in choir. Let them get singing lessons. Put them around it. Put them in it. Right. Don't wait. Help. Help them. You help initiate. To them. Don't let the world dictate to them what the world wants them to do, right? You dictate to them as a parent, and you help them. And then when they get the confidence, because it's some kids, they catch it early, some kids are late bloomers, all of these different things. But if you put in the work, it'll help them in life. I mean, we see it. We just see kids, they're just existing. They're not doing anything in life, and they're full of potential. So it's like, how can we create ways to help them show? And so, man, I've called you on many occasions. I've asked you questions about, audio media. I came down, me and you worked on a media project with your church. Man, it was a great weekend we had. But like, just seeing you and your expertise on it, I think you would be a great resource in helping parents that have kids, or kids who maybe don't know. Sometimes kids don't know. My son didn't know, but I put him in the sound booth with me since he was like 2 years old. He's been around it. He
Right.
picked up doing, he picked up learning the camera. He picked up lighting. And now he's going to school for communication and broadcast, right? He wants to do it on the sports side of things. So, like, I don't know if he ever would have learned or knew he had an appetite for those things if I hadn't introduced it to him. So, um, talk about that, Don. How can we help our families? Even when you look at kids like getting jobs, there's nothing wrong with you working or starting at McDonald's. But man, when you have a family, you have a couple of kids, trust me, McDonald's, unless you the regional vice president or something, you just flipping burgers is not going to be enough. And I think you have more to offer than just that. It's not a knock on it. Get in where you fit in, but don't let that be your lot in life, right? What would you
Right.
say, Don? How could we help, how could we help families or help kids, that may have those bents or may have those interests? How can they get engaged?
Oh man, when they have those interests, I'll just say for me, my son, it was I never, by me being, drums is my main instrument. I always
Yes,
play. Watch me forever. He could sit there. He can play, but
right.
there's not. But I found out that being Jafar in fifth grade in a play, that's where his gift and talent is. He was
Bingo.
in Latin. He's
Yeah,
into,
yeah,
and it's what. So now, since what, he's been like 5 years old. He's been in productions, and
yes,
he's so crazy. He be around here going over his lines. He
yeah,
when it comes to going to rehearsal, he want to
yeah.
be the one there.
That's good. That's
Everybody.
good. That's
That's
good.
his that's his lane. I figured out early what his
Yeah,
lane. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Okay, if I can go back with me, my little story, small story was I found out from my uncles and my father. My father told me as a kid, and he had on records, you play Stevie Wonder back in the day.
Yeah, baby. Yes,
Boom,
sir.
boom, all that Stevie Wonder, look at
Yeah,
that. He said, I
yeah,
was in the front room when that song came on. Uh, I was in the stroller and waving my hands. He said, man, and I would just sit there and just get off to it. As a baby, I loved music. So
right.
and we fast forward on down the line, here comes my uncle was a big part of my life, one of my mom's brothers. He saw me, I would use all my mom's spoons, pots, and pans, put them in circles. I would make drums and sit there and do that. And he said, that boy a drummer. At 5 years old, he bought me a drum set and he told my mama, say, hey, look, I'm bringing the drum set. I ain't got to hear the noise. I'm going home. But y'all gonna
Right,
deal. So he
right.
he he real comical like that. But uh he saw something in me and then my parents saw I ended up getting a scholarship, and it's a whole lot of things that happened. And my dad was very instrumental and best music teacher I had. He said, look, son, you can play with anybody in the world. There's a
Yeah,
man on our music. he don't really know too much, but he told me if you watch whoever's the band leader, who if you look at the singer, look at their body language, how they move, you
Hmm.
can play with anybody, and that's been the biggest music lesson that has got me paid. This
Wow.
man don't know nothing about music like that, not like I've learned, but it was
Right.
my talent. But just the wisdom that he has, he imparted. I listened.
Mm.
I wanted to be obedient, but it did bring me to another level. And so going back to your point about exposing your kids, I was exposed. My dad had records.
That's
You,
good.
I heard music. Okay, well, I exposed. We took man Donovan's mother. We took him to plays and stuff like that, and that has helped groom him because we saw his interest was in theater, so he
Right.
wanted to see like the Lion King, the production.
Mm. That's what's up.
Got all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say whatever their interest is, just find that and
Pour into
spend
it.
with some in there. Yeah.
Yeah. See your
Yeah.
son, you saying like you put him on the drum, he watched you play. I love this. But you figured out drums not for him.
No.
He's in the theater. But check this out. See, it all ties together. Now watch this. Even though, even though drums is not his thing, how many times has he seen you do sound check? How many sound checks has he been around? In theater is nothing without a sound check.
Right, 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 right. I
What's
didn't think
what's the show? Everybody is geeking off of Hamilton. It's a
right.
it's a fly. How they redid it is fly. But I promise you, I don't care. It's really they're not doing really a lot of acting. What are they doing? Singing and
Thinking.
talking. If the people can't hear, if it's not clarity, that's a sound check. All of that's part of theater. Now watch this. He's gotten this experience and he can get the knowledge from the background from his father who primarily is a drummer, but he know you have to know sound. So it still works in his favor even though it's not his
Wow.
thing. I said that to say some things we have to put them in so we can find out, and it's our job because God has made us stewards. It's like, man, oh my goodness, man, we were outside. This little girl, she can beat all the little boys running.
Right.
I mean, convincingly. Maybe I might let her run track or put her in some type of athletics, gym. I don't know what it is, but you as a parent, you have to know. So we have to be engaged. And let me say this:
Wow.
we can't, we cannot put them into things with a mindset that if I put them into this, they're gonna make millions or make me millions. That's you can't do it based off of that. Because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna come with that. It's gonna come a bunch of unhappiness because it won't be fun. It's gonna seem like a daunting task, a job, right? And they're gonna be they'll be pushed in ways they shouldn't be pushed because of the foundation of it. I'm gonna put them in it because of this. It can't be that. It can't you can't do it based off of that. And I'm gonna say this to parents too: that you're driving your kids with the financial gain in mind. That's not God's way for us. God told us for us to leave an inheritance for our children's children. So in other words, you should be providing something and putting in place for them. I hear kids all the time, Mom, I'm gonna buy you a house. Mom, I'm gonna buy you a Bentley. Mom, I'm gonna do this. And that's great if they have those aspirations. But God said, I'm supposed to leave something for my kids and my children's children. So that helps you in making distinct something distinct. Now, when you hear, you listen to LeBron's story, man, how poor they were, the things that
Uh-huh.
they were going through, and when he hit his peak in high school, all of the offers and things that were pulling at him, right? I get it. I do. I absolutely get it. There are situations where you see those things happen, but in terms of putting that pressure on them, man, my kids, man, I love my kids. I cannot love them any more than I love them now. I made my son, look up. He could be on TV doing a set with Stephen A. Smith. Man, I'm like, wow, that's my boy. But I wouldn't be no more proud then than I am right now. Right. So whatever he ends up doing in life, I'm still gonna love him. I'm still gonna be proud of him. I want him to be in God's plan for his life, not my plans, right? And so when I talk to you, and I ask you about it, you like, man, my son, he killing this theater. It's like, man, I think he gonna do something with it. I love
Yeah.
to hear that. It's purpose. It's purpose. When you're in your purpose, it should affect other people and give them strength and give them encouragement. Put a smile on their face. I know what it's like to be doing something just because you're good at it. And that's one of the things I struggle with through a season of my life. I'm the type of person, I'm a visual learner. If I see you do something, I can learn how to do it. And I'm good. I'm good. A lot of things I touch, I'm good at it. But what happens is this, hear this, you can be good at a lot of things, but master none. And you
Uh-huh.
not making any progress in life. And you look up,
Right.
man, 15 years of your life have passed by because you've been the plumber, you've been the sheetrock layer, you've been a brick mason, you pour concrete, you paint, you're the electrician, and you do all these, man, and you never have a house that's completed. You just done all these tasks in the house. The goal is to build a house and for somebody to occupy it. So take inventory, pray, ask God. He said, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of the Father. Man, ask God, man, show me what's in me. Show me what's in my kids. Right? I want them to be walking into purpose. And I think, man, these things they help us. They help our families. Sometimes there's just stress in the home because there's a lack of knowledge and there's a lack of direction. Right? It's just like nobody knows where we're going. Nobody knows what we're doing. So it can't help but be frustrating and a bunch of tension. But man, when where there's purpose, oh man, and purpose is known, oh man, you can pick that thing up and you can run with it. So man, Don, man, this podcast has been fire, bro. I mean, I've enjoyed this time with you, man, and I pray, man, that our audience they are blessed by this podcast. I've definitely been blessed by it, man. I think the world of you, and
Thank you,
just
man.
seeing
Wow.
this journey that you're on, man. I believe that there is so much potential in the community. We know what's in the community families. And I mean, I'm not, this ain't no hate, no disrespect to anybody that's doing anything big. Those that follow me, one of the guys I follow is Eric Thomas, man. Much love to them, man. I have drawn down from some of the systems that have made them successful, and I have been implementing them in my own personal life. But people that are doing great, man, we should applaud them and push them. But I'm telling you, there is greatness right in the presence of us. And what do I mean? It's in our families, it's in our community, it's in our next door neighbor. And I think it's important if we can encourage one another, we can we can support one another. We can be there when people find life hard to to continue. If we can just encourage them, I think the better will be in our families and in our communities. And like I said, man, as long as God gives me breath in my body and we have this podcast and other platforms, we're gonna be shouting and screaming that message, man. We know what the end product is gonna be. And so, man, Don, man, I appreciate you carving out some time out of your busy schedule to be on with us, man. Is there any parting words or last words you want to leave with the viewers on today, Don, man, as before we get out of here?
Man, I just say to everybody, keep rediscovering yourself. It's just like a computer.
Mm.
Computer update. All these apps on our phone need to update every
Oh,
day.
don't start that, man. Don't start that, man. Don't
It's
start.
bro, I just say become a
Yeah,
connoisseur of life, learning to be a connoisseur of learning, not just about yourself, but about other people. Learn how their success stories and see how can they work for you. That's where I'm at. I just want to learn. And I want to find the people who in the back of the room who need to be pushed. That's who I'm looking for.
yeah,
The people who ain't trying to be out front. Find somebody you can help. That's my important word, man. I'm excited about life. It's only the beginning. You
yeah,
doing big things. Thank you for inviting me, bro. Uh,
yeah,
Amazing brother to me. Uh, it's going nowhere but up from here, man.
For
The
sure.
sky for you, brother.
Yeah,
Peace and
man. Thank you. Thank you,
blessings.
man. He said it. I didn't say it. He began to talk about, the apps and downloads. Hey, we wrote a book, man, called God Has an App for That. It's an incredible read. I
Wow.
think it's a life-changing read. You can get it. Go to Amazon, type my name in, Harry Hickerson, or type in God Has an App for That. Download. You can download it. It's an ebook, or you can buy the hard copy. Man, you can read this book in 30 to 45 minutes. It's a quick read, but it's filled with some powerful gems that God, gave me. This book, I wrote it to my son. It's I call it a love letter and a playbook for him. And God gave me 5 convictions in it that I wanted to share with him. But I also wrote the book in mind, thinking about families in our community. So, um, go out there, get your copy, get one. Christmas is coming up. You ought to bless. If you have kids, man, buy it, man. Listen, I would buy it for all my kids. Really, they can read it. They would definitely find encouragement in it. So, go out there and cop it, man. And oh, Don, man, this has been great. And I also we have a end of the year event. I definitely got to say something about the Catalyst for Change Summit is coming up December the 5th. We're really
Yes.
excited about it, man. God has blessed me, man, with some teammates. We've been talking, and we want to do something to help. And that's really at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And I believe God is putting together um, a community of Avengers. All these people, whether you know you're a superhero or not, but you are. God's putting us together, and He's doing some great things. And we are on this rescue mission, man, to rescue those. Some don't even know they need rescuing, but then there are those that need rescuing. It's just like, man, I need help. I know what it's like to need help in life, and you're either embarrassed to ask for it or you don't know how to ask for it. Well, this being a catalyst for change, we're going to do the asking for you. We're going to reach out, and it's a
Wow.
movement. It's also the title of my new book that's going to be released the end of this year, A Catalyst for Change. Man, I can't wait for you guys to get it. Um, man, I'm telling you, we're in the shop, we working. I also want to share, man, December the 4th. We're right now just on YouTube. This podcast is on YouTube, but December the 4th will also be on Spotify and Apple Music. I'm telling you, man, we're going into 2022 with the bang. We're going to expand this message. We're going to expand this reach. And I believe there have been some of you that have been crying and praying. And I believe we've heard the cries and the prayers. So look out, 2022, we're coming, but we're going to end the year on the bang. So you can follow me on Instagram at UCST Blaze, or Facebook. Just put in my name, Harry Hickerson, and it'll pop up. We're going to grow this thing. And I just appreciate your support and your partnership. We about to get out of here, but as always, we say it's strength for today, sustenance for tomorrow. It's your boy, your potential conditioner, H2O. We'll see you next week. We're out of here. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.